Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay? We are here. We are here. I'm going to let everyone fall into place here. Give me a minute. We'll get started. Let me know what you guys thought about that stoppage. I thought the stoppage was a little silly. It seemed like a little bit silly of a stoppage at that particular time. I thought you could have let Conlan go on a little more. But he was hurt. He was down early. He did seem trouble. It did seem bad. It did seem like every time he got hit, he got hurt. But those are the breaks, I would have let it go on a little more. I thought you could have let Jordan Gill, put together a few more shots. You're watching it closely at that point. But I'd have let it gone on. I really would have. That's a conservative stoppage. The ref threatened to disqualify Conlan before that round started, which seemed a little strange to me. Didn't seem like a fight that you would disqualify someone for. He did hit him a little bit with the elbows, but it is what it is. I'm gonna let all of y'all fall into place here, and then we will get started. Let me know when you guys fall into place here. When you guys get in, we will get started. Let me know when you guys are here. Guys want to jump in? Let me know. Let me know. Check the other thing. Hang on. You guys over at the other thread? Yeah, we're going to get started in just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. This is strange. This is weird. Is everybody here? All right, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. So the Boixng Bookie did it for you guys again today. Made you some money today. This is a pretty good card. Surprised that Jordan Conlan. I would have. See, this is why I don't bet on Mick Conlan fights. You can see I didn't do the odds on this one because I thought the fight was. Mick Conlan, I can't get a hold of this guy, right? Sometimes he looks good, sometimes he looks awful. He looked good in spots, and then he gets absolutely destroyed. I mean, guys, you tell me. I mean, what do you guys? Is this it for Mick Conlan? Jordan Gill, I think, has talent. He's not exactly a world beater. He's not, one of the best fighters you're going to see or anything like that. Jordan Gill is a decent fighter. He's got some wins. But Mick Conlan was supposed to be the truth, wasn't he? Mick Conlan was supposed to be where it's at. What happened to that? What happened to Mick Conlan being that dude, right? I mean, clearly, Mick Conlan uh, is not panning out, obviously. Um, which it is what it is. I'm trying to take care of. Is anyone in the other stream? I'm trying to cancel that other stream out, and it's really being annoying to me. But what did you guys think? Did you guys have any thoughts on the stoppage? Was the stoppage premature? Was the stoppage too soon? I mean, again, Conlan looked hurt, but he didn't look that hurt. And it wasn't like Gill was sitting there teeing off on him. Every time Gill hit him there, it did seem like Conlan was getting hurt. But at the same time, on the cards, right, Conlan was winning, right? You guys let me know. I mean, did you have anyone on the cards? It's a little bit premature, right, Merca? I mean, it seemed early. It definitely seemed early to me. I didn't see I didn't see Conlan that hurt. I didn't see Gill pouring on shots. I didn't see Conlan defensive. But like I said, every time Conlan was getting hit there, he was getting hurt, and that's not a good sign. Like, I don't think his legs were fully underneath him, although I thought he was doing well in the fight. Marco, did you score it? How did you have it scored at the time of the stoppage? I mean, not that it matters really, but how did you have it scored? Did you have Conlan up when they did stop the fight? I don't know where Mick Conlan goes from here. I mean, it's just not. It's really, this guy was supposed to be it, and he's not it. He's 32 now. He was in the 2016 Olympics and 2012 Olympics. The guy's not a baby anymore. He's 32. I mean, so he's into his 30s now. He's got two stoppage losses in a row, and that's 3 stoppage losses in the last year and a half or whatever it may be. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought Conlan was doing okay in the fight. I really didn't see anyone. I didn't see any reason to stop it at that point. You want to start looking in closely, and you want to start giving Conlan instructions. Fire back, answer, get out of the corner, do something. Show me you want to be in this fight. Yeah, I think that's it. But I didn't see any reason to stop it at that point. So I just pulled it up now. The Lee Wood knockout was March of 2022. So that's almost, I guess, 2 years short of that, 22 months or 21 months, 20 months. He's got the knockout loss to Lee Wood, which he was doing well in. And that came off the TJ Doheny win, which is like the best win of his career. Then he got a win over Mariaga, which he dominated and knocked him down. Then he beat Kareem Jarafi, knocked him out in the first round. Things seemed to be going well for him. Then he got absolutely annihilated by Luis Alberto Lopez, and now this. So for someone, it's hard because Conlan's got skills. He's a good boxer. He doesn't have any great attribute though, right? And now he's 18-3. He's 32. His best win is still probably TJ Doheny. Is there a better win that he has? Vladimir Nikitin, the Russian who in the Olympics. But those are his wins, and he's probably not it. Yeah, that happened like, I don't know, a few years ago, probably. Merker, was there a death in the ring? Probably 2016, something like that, around there. And then all of a sudden in the UK, the refs started stopping fights pretty quickly, or quicker, I should say. I mean, I think there was a death in the ring in the UK in a fight that probably went on too long, and then after that, refs started stopping the fight. Is that stopping the fight earlier? Am I making sense here, or am I completely making that up? I could be making that up, but I think there was a death in the ring back, maybe 6-7 years ago, something like that. And then, because you remember the Anthony Joshua stoppage with Carlos, what was his name? Carlos Takam? Was that, and that, I mean, Anthony Joshua was dominating the fight and winning every round, but like the stoppage was like basically for no reason. Takam, that was his name, right? And that stoppage came basically out of nowhere. Not that it mattered. And sometimes stoppages like that are okay. I mean, yeah, call us Takam. It was the 10th round, and AJ had won every round, and he it was scoring really well. And then the refs just stopped it. Joshua put like 2 shots together, and the ref just came in and stopped the fight altogether. But let's get into how we did betting this fight, because we did really, really, really good on betting this. I didn't bet Jordan. Like I said, there's always a bull market somewhere, but not every fight is a bull market. I did not want to touch this Jordan Gill fight because I think Gill is good. I know, like, he's got some losses. Kiko Martinez knocked him out, and that was not long ago. That was just a year ago. He's got another loss to Mario Enrique Tanako, which he got stopped at 2, I believe. But I like his skills, and like Conlan to me is an enigma. I can't quite figure him out. Like, I mean, he looks good sometimes, and then he looks awful, and he gets stopped. This is a fight that I really, really didn't want to bet on. It just seemed like a trap. And like, if you would have put a gun in my head and said you have to bet this fight, I probably would have took Conlan. Right? I probably would have bet Conlan to win this fight. But I didn't want to touch it. Right? There's just some fights I don't want to touch, and this was definitely one of them. But let's talk about what we did touch, because we did hit on everything. Ajako, Calvin Ajako, and Troy Williamson. This was a split decision. Does anyone know the judge that scored that? First of all, how did you guys have it? Did you guys even have this fight close? Because it was a split decision. What judge scored this thing for Williamson? That is, to me, unbelievable that a judge scored this fight for Williamson. I don't even know how to respond to that exactly. That is something else, really. Like, that is something else. That someone thought Troy Williamson won that fight. Amazing. And we hit on that. I took a Jocko on points. I think it was just the money line on that. And then Sean McComb, we bet every which way. Sean McComb looked really good. The first 2 knockdowns, a little fugazi. What did you guys think of the first 2 knockdowns in the Yeah, that's his name. I don't worry. I can barely say his name. I'm not even gonna try to say his first name. I get it wrong every single time. The Ajako fight. I thought that originally I liked Williamson just off the names. I went back and watched it. After I went back and watched it, I said, Jocko's going to win this fight. The Troy Williamson is so flawed. I just can't believe one of the judges scored it. Like, scored it for Troy Williamson. Like, what fight were you watching? Then Sean McComb, really good performance out of him. He dominated Sam Maxwell. But what do you guys think of the first couple of knockdowns in that fight? I mean, the one was the third, the second, the third, and the fifth. The knockdowns, the ninth was a legitimate knockdown. The third and the fifth seemed a little, we sure those are knockdowns? Are we really, really sure those are knockdowns? Their feet didn't get tangled up there. Either way, McComb put on a really good performance. McComb did even better than I thought, and I thought he was going to do really well in this fight. I thought this was a fight that matched up really well for him. Stylistically, I didn't see anything Maxwell did better, right? Like, they're going to fight a similar strategy. They're going to have a similar game plan. They're going to fight similarly. How far do I think Ajako can go? I mean, he can go to the European level. I mean, is he going to win a world title at 154? I mean, that would be tough. McComb looked really good. He dropped him 3 times. Now, the first 2 knockdowns, like, they were half slips, half knockdowns, but the third knockdown was legit. And he basically, I had him winning 9 rounds plus 3 10-8 rounds to do the math on that. Like, scorecards were all over the place. But McComb looked really good. As far as Ajako, I mean, he's gonna look, if he's not in that top 15 at 154, he's getting close, right? Like, I'm gonna throw out some names: Ajako and Josh Kelly. Who you got? Ajako and Michelle Soro. Who you got? Ajako and Joey Spencer. Who you got? right? Like these are fights he can win. A Jocko and Sam Eggington, a Jocko and James Metcalf. There's his next fight. Is James Metcalf a matchroom guy, or who is James Metcalf with? Because there's a good fight right there. I'd like to see that. Right? He's just coming off the win. I guess it's 6 months ago already. Over Dennis Hogan. Good win. He's got a win over Courtney Pennington. It's American guy. He's got the win over. I'm sorry, the close loss to Kieran Conway after the knockout loss to Cheeseman. But James Metcalf is a guy that's looked good. Jocko and James Metcalf, I think, is a good fight. Who do you guys have in that? Kelly beats him, maybe Kelly could beat him. But he's nearing that level. So there's really just one more test to pass. If he can beat Josh Kelly, if he can beat those guys, he's ready. You look at some of the names in that division. The American names at the top. Charlo, I don't think he's coming back to that division. Can he beat Tim Tszyu? No. After that, Sebastian Fundora, he's flawed. Brian Mendoza, he's flawed. Right? Like he can. Erickson Lubin, you can outbox. I'm not saying he's gonna beat all these guys. Charles, I don't think Charles is coming back. So let's get rid of that. So the other names would be Lubin, Mendoza, Fundora. Who else do we like in that division? If he's not in the top 15 in that division, he's close. He's really, really close. I'm gonna come back tonight and do another one. But Jocko is close. And I'm losing my brain. Sean McComb. I want to see Sean McComb take a big step up in his next fight. 140 is loaded with talent. We saw Sam Maxwell get annihilated by Dalton Smith. I would take Dalton Smith to win, but does he do any better? Does McComb do any better with Dalton Smith? How would he do with O'Hara Davies? What if we stepped him up and gave him a veteran who's been, a little shot born like Richard Comey? How does he do with Richard Comey or the Canadian Steve Claggart? Right? Like, give him a name. I want a big step up for him because he's got skills. He looks good. But I need to see him against something better. I need to see Sean McComb because this was the biggest test Sean McComb has had so far. Right? I can't think of a bigger opponent. I know he's got the loss. I understand he's got the loss, and that was a while ago to Gavin Gwynn. Can we do that again? Does he do any better in a rematch? That was almost 3 years ago. By the time they rematched, it would be 3 years ago. Do you want to do that again? Gavin Gwynn? Is Gavin Gwynn? He's a matchroom guy, yeah? He is, right? No. He's a Frank Warren guy. Gavin Gwynn's a Frank Warren guy. I guess we're not going to see that. But we could. But there's potential fights out there. Gavin Gwynn, I'd like a rematch, but I really like to see McComb take a big step up against one of those veteran Americans and see how he does. Yeah, he is a Frank Warren fight. I just looked him up. But McComb isn't a matchroom fighter. He just fought on this card, right? Like he's not exclusively signed by Eddie Hearn, is he? He just fought on this card. He could fight, meaning he can fight on a Frank Warren card if he wants. What about Cyrus Pattinson? Can he do 140? Can they make that fight? There's a fight, right? Like I want to see him against someone. I want to see him against the puncher. I want to see how he handles himself with a puncher. That's why I'd like to see him fight Dalton Smith. But that's probably I know Dalton Smith. They really liked him or did. He's not really panning out. I'd like to see him against my boy, my Texan, my 140 pounder, Omar Juarez. I think that would be an interesting fight. Put him in the ring, but obviously that's not going to happen either. But there's good fights out there. Now we're coming back tonight. So we hit on everything. I didn't touch the Jordan Gill fight. I didn't want to bet on that fight. The Jordan Gill fight. The McComb fight. We hit that every which way. I tried to take McComb. I didn't take McComb by decision. I didn't take the over 8.5. We hit on all that. And then the Ajako and Troy Williamson fight. We hit on that too. I mean, there was only a money line bet on that, so we didn't really make a ton on that, but we hit on everything. We hit on everything. So, you made 4 bets, you hit on all of them. On Wednesday, we lost a little bit, but we didn't get cleaned out because we hit on the over on the Castaneda fight. We bet on Castaneda. It was like 2.5 to 1, it's like plus 250. Castaneda didn't pan out. He lost a really close split decision. Happens. But we made that money back and some. And now if Ryan Garcia hits on this and it goes over, we had a really good week. Another really good week after a really good week last week. So keep following me, keep sharing, subscribing. I appreciate all you guys do. I'm going to be setting up a Patreon too. I'm going to try to take this off. I'm going to do another live reaction, I think, after that Ryan Garcia fight. I'm going to go watch some college football now. My Texas Longhorns won. So now we just have to hope someone loses so that they can get in the college playoff. But we're gonna be back with the Ryan Garcia fight. There's not a ton else on that. Like I didn't place any bets. You got Shane Mosley Jr. on the card. You got Floyd Schofield, Darius Fulgham is on the card. Really, the only interesting fight though is Garcia and Durate, and I think that fight is better than people are expecting it to be, right? Like, I think Durate is going to be competitive in this fight. I just can't really see how he wins, right? The only question is, can he go the distance? Darius Fulgham is 8-0. He knocks everyone out. He's fighting Pacino Hill, who we've seen on a bunch of Golden Boy cards. Floyd Schofield fighting a guy named Ricardo Lopez Torres, not the great Mexican fighter, a different Ricardo Lopez. Sean Garcia, and that's really it. That's really all we have on that card. But yeah, we'll be back with that. The only action I have on that is Ryan Garcia and the over. If you go back to 3D Boxing Blog on YouTube, you can pull up the video. I break it down for you. I'm taking Ryan Garcia. I think everyone's taking Ryan Garcia. I thought the odds were going to be a lot wider, which said maybe we make a play here. If it was plus 700, plus 800, maybe we make a play here for Durate because I think he's a bit of a, I think he's got a shot, but he's got to win by stoppage. He's not going to win enough rounds to beat Ryan Garcia, and then that didn't happen. The odds were only like plus 425 or plus 450. So that's not really worth it. Yeah, I honestly, but Merca, remember, him and Oscar are having a feud. They're in a lawsuit. I think it makes sense for Oscar to give him a tough fight, to put him in tough, and if he loses, well, he was going to leave me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to put him in tough fights. I'm going to try to make it entertaining fights. And if he leaves me, he leaves me. But remember, him and Oscar and Ryan Garcia are in a lawsuit. They're battling it out. And maybe it's amicable. Maybe it's just different. Maybe they just see things differently. Or maybe Ryan Garcia is trying to get out of that contract. And maybe Oscar's saying, I'm going to give you another L and kill your credibility and kill your star. I don't know. Possibly. Because, after you get viciously knocked out, Merca, you don't fight a puncher. When Amir Khan got knocked out, he fought Paulie Malignaggi. He didn't jump right back in with a puncher. We'll be right back after these commercials. All right. It's not easy, right? Like, when you get viciously knocked out, like you did like Ryan did with Tank Davis, just go jump back in with a puncher who's going to jump on you. That's a tough thing to do. Like, there are a million fights he could have put him in with. He could have put him in with Tanahara, right? They still have a workable relationship. Tanahara still wants that fight. I know Tanahara has the other fight with Andy Cruz, but they could have paid him a lot more to take this fight, right? Like, you're fighting in the main event. You're not fighting Andy Cruz in a co-main event. You're fighting Ryan Garcia in a main event. It's a lot more money. Like, he could have took that fight. There are other names you could have put him in with at 140. I understand Durante is also at 135. So, but Durante is a dangerous, dangerous guy. Not like Ryan should win because Ryan's got way more skills. Ryan can do a lot, right? Like Ryan's more explosive, he's more athletic, he's quicker. But Durante is a dog, and Durante is going to be all over him like a gnat. Like he's going to be all over him, that's why I'm liking the over because Ryan's going to get hit once or twice. He's not going to like it, and then he's going to go back on his bicycle. He's going to win rounds. He's going to run out the clock. And I think this thing goes the distance. I really like Ryan on points. But looking at that division, like there are other names like Yves Alissi. Remember him, a veteran guy, noticeable name. They could have gave him. They could have gave him. He can't punch. Rances Bartholomew, you could have got him at a price. He can't punch, and he's coming off a controversial win, but a win over Omar Juarez. Like there are names you could have got him that don't pose that threat. Yeah, Mark, I think this is kind of like a trap fight. It's kind of like, yeah. You want to take me to court? I'm going to stick you in with Durante. And what's Ryan Garcia going to do? Duck Oscar Durante? You can't do that. Right? I'm sure Ryan thinks he's going to win the fight, right? It's not like he thinks he's going to lose. But this is a tough fight. Do I think? Look at the rest of the way Oscar matches his guys. Like, look at Floyd Schofield and Darius Fulgham are as good a prospect as Oscar's had since Virgil Ortiz. They're that good of prospects, right? Look who he matches them with. Like guys they're going to destroy. Ryan Garcia coming off a vicious knockout loss to Tank Davis gets Oscar Durante? Yeah. And he just so happens to be in a lawsuit? It's not a sport for the faint of heart, Marker. It's not. It's a violent sport. But guys, I'll be back after the Ryan Garcia fight. We'll do a late stream. We'll stay up late. I got to go catch up on college football, and then I'm going to try to kind of fast forward and watch at 1.5 speed the undercard. But I got to catch up on college football, and then we will be back tonight after that Ryan Garcia fight, guys. Please follow me all forms of social media: 3D Boxing blog. Tell a friend, and when you do take my advice, and when you do make a ton of money, let me know. Share your victories. Share your victories with me. It's December 2nd, 2023 from Texas to the world. Thank you and God bless.